All right, today we're diving deep into the intense, lyrical world of the artist Carnage Wright. We're going to deconstruct a body of work that's incredibly raw, complex, and personal. And to help us navigate it, we're going to use this idea of an artist's crucible.
And right off the bat, we're hit with this line. It's such a powerful paradox, right? It just perfectly captures the essence of this whole work. A pressure so intense, a pain so deep, that it exists beyond the need for actual sound. Think of this as our way in, our entry point into the emotional landscape we're about to explore.
So, that's the path we're following today. We're going to trace how an artist can take all that chaos, all that pain, the raw stuff of life, and through this creative fire, forge it into something powerful. It's a journey of transformation, really, from raw suffering to a voice that finally commands its own story.
Okay, so, Section 1, A Portal of Pain. We're starting right at the source, with what the artist calls the raw material for their creation.
And look, the work does not pull any punches about where this pain comes from. This quote is so stark, so direct, and just incredibly vulnerable. It really grounds the art, you know? This isn't some abstract angst, it's the brutal, real-life trauma that sets the stage for everything that comes next.
And the work is almost like a catalog of these wounds. It's not just one thing, right? You've got childhood trauma, the sting of betrayal, public humiliation, and a world that just leaves your spirit broken. Every single one of these is like a heavy piece of lead just waiting to be thrown into that crucible.
All right, on to Section 2, the system static. See, this personal pain, it doesn't just exist in a bubble. It slams right into the world, and that collision creates what the artist calls the system's static. This is where the battle happens, both inside your own head and against the big structures of society.
And that right there, that's the core conflict. On one hand, you have this deep internal struggle for who you even are. And on the other, you've got these massive, crushing forces from the outside. And that line, capitalism, catheters, and minors, man, what a visceral image. It's like the system is literally being injected right into your body.
And this fight isn't with just one thing. It's broad. The critique hits everything: political theory, flimsy media, cultural theft, and, maybe most importantly, that internal chaos, those static dream circuits that just mess with your sense of what's even real.
This line really nails that feeling, you know? That feeling of being trapped in the static. It's this idea of being processed, medicated by a system, instead of being allowed to authentically experience your own suffering. It's like you're just a case file, not a real person.
Okay. Section 3. This is huge. Words as alchemy. So you've got all this pain, all this static. How in the world do you get out? Well, now we're at the very heart of the crucible. This is the creative act itself. This is where pain gets turned into power.
So let's break down what we mean by alchemy here. Just think of it like this. You take the lead, all that raw, heavy, toxic stuff, and you put it in the fire of creation. What comes out is artistic gold. Something structured, something that resonates, something powerful. And the artist is clear, this is not some gentle, easy process. This is a forceful act of will. I mean, I built a portal with my bare hands. That says it all. The whole point isn't just to talk about it, it's to shatter the locks. Creation becomes liberation. It's like a jailbreak from the prison of your own unspoken truth. And what's amazing is, the work itself kind of lays out the roadmap for this alchemical process. First, you have to confront the pain, head on. Second, you take all that chaos that comes up and you don't try to shut it down. You give it a melody of madness. You channel it. Now, this next part is absolutely key. Step 3, you forge a new language. You have to take these raw, screaming feelings and give them structure, a rhythm, a rhyme, a metaphor. Because when you name it, when you shape the madness, you gain power over it. That's the alchemy. And the result? Release. You get to the other side, and you're finally clear.
And all of this leads to a pretty profound realization. The point isn't really the finished song or what the audience thinks. The victory is the process itself. The act of writing, of doing this alchemy, that becomes its own reward, its own salvation, really.
And that brings us to our final section, the sovereign voice. So what exactly is on the other side of that portal you built with your bare hands? Well, it's the final product of the crucible, a completely new, self-defined identity, a voice that is sovereign, that is in control. And its whole philosophy is summed up in that one simple declaration. The answer is simply I am.
I mean, this is the ultimate statement of taking control, of sovereignty.
It's a total rejection of every external label, every outside authority. The artist becomes their own creator, their own God. They're operating on an authority that no one else, no form or phrase can ever command or take away.
And that's where our journey brings us. This new voice, it isn't just a healed version of the old one. No, it's something entirely new, something that was literally forged in the fire of that crucible. It went through the pain, it went through the static, and it came out the other side speaking its own truth, completely on its own terms.
And all of this leaves us with one last big question. And it's a question posed by the work itself. If the process is the whole point, if the act of creation is the victory, then what's left to be said? What's the point of the final song, the finished piece of art? Yeah, that's definitely something to think about.